Hi friends, today I have an adorable left-handed tutorial for this bee. The original pattern is from Karis over at Reigning Charmz. I will link it down below, but she has a crochet mini bee tutorial that is meant for a keychain. Now I did this one and made it a little bit bigger. But you could use it for as a stuffed animal. You could also, for spring, make it and dangle it from like tree branches to welcome spring in. Put it with Easter eggs on a tree. So let's get started. For this project, you're going to use a 5mm or a H hook, a yarn needle, some safety eyes. I'm using these little wiggle eyes and they are 15mm snips, some black yarn for the little face, little stitch marker, chenille like yarn that is in this gold color or a yellow color will work as well. And I'm using this velvet jumbo yarn and some white for the wings. Then you'll need some stuffing. If you are going to adhere your wiggle eyes, you may need a little lighter to make it more secure. Now obviously this is not intended for little kids because it has the small eyes, which could be dangerous, so not to be left with young children. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with a magic ring, and the way I do a magic ring is I take my hand and I take the short end of the tail and I kind of drapes it over my hand, and then I bring the tail that is attached to the yarn and make an X like so. You have two parallel yarn, so I go in using my left hand. I'll go under the first and I'll grab the one on the right, and then I'll sort of give it a little twist, and then that frees up a loop, and I'm going to go from the back and slip through to secure that magic loop. And so the magic loop, the advantage of the magic loop is that you can tighten it so it's closed at the back and you don't see the gaps. So you're going to start by placing 6 single crochets into this loop. So you go under, pull up, and then back and through the 2 loops. So that's the first single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull the short tail and close the loop, and just be careful because you don't want to snap the magic loop. Okay, so it's closed it up. Now when you're working with this sort of chenille type or fluffy yarn, it is hard to see the stitches, but if I bring it closer you can slightly see the V stitches. And once you get going, you'll get used to it, but you can also feel the different stitches. So sometimes I go by feel more than actually looking at the stitches. Okay, so moving on to the second round, you will place your hook in that first single crochet. So put it through there, wrap your yarn over from the back. You're going to pull up a, oops, you're going to pull up a loop and then bring the yarn around back to front and pull through, and that's your first single crochet. And that is where you're going to put your stitch marker. Okay, so you're going to put one more single crochet in the same stitch as you did just now with a stitch marker, and you want to make sure that you're grabbing the tail that is connected to your yarn ball and not this tail. Okay, and then bring up a loop, and that's your second one in that first stitch. So the first round was 6 single crochets. In the second round, we're going to place 2 single crochets in each of the stitches, and so you will finish up the second round with a total of 12 single crochets. So here we go. Next, how I like to do it with this fuzzy yarn is just sort of feel for that hole, because it is, here's the little V. So I'm going to go from front to back underneath the little V, grab the yarn and bring up, loop, there's one, back into the same, and 2, and so I'm going to proceed all the way around doing the same thing. Alright, so let's count them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You're going to put 1 single crochet, and another single crochet. Before we do that, I'm going to move that stitch marker so that it is marked for the third round. So the process for this third round is to do 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and that alternation increases the circle. For the first round we started off with 6. The second round we put 2 single crochets in each of those 6 to make 12, and now we're doing alternate of 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way around for the third round. So I just trimmed the tail a little bit so it would stay out of the way, but you should have at the end of round 3, 18. So let's count this together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So for round 4, all you're going to do is go around, so you'll have 18 single crochets. And because this is not increasing in this round, it's starting to form this sort of cup, which is what you want. These are super quick, and Karis from Reigning Charmz was so kind in allowing me to make a left-handed tutorial of her pattern. Now the original pattern that she shows is for a smaller bee, and it is for very cute for keychains. So you finished up with round 4 and the 18. What we're going to do now is just kind of pull up the big loop there. And if you hear my daughter singing in the background, she sounds like Elsa. She's doing homework. So at this point, it's kind of like a little cup, but you're going to turn it that away. So you kind of invert it. So this is going to be the right side. And at this point, between our rows 4, before we start row 5, we're going to go ahead and place the safety eyes loop that was on the hook kind of facing down south. And you'll grab your safety eye and you're going to go between the second and third loops. So there's 1, 2, so it'll be right in here. And first we're going to just kind of place them to see if we like where we've placed them. And once you're happy with where you want them, you just kind of want them level with this point coming down. Okay, so then you're going to flip it inside out and attach the little safety washers. And you'll hear it snap. The little prongs are facing outwards. There it goes. You can melt these, just be careful, to add an extra sense of security. See how it kind of flattens that? Okay, so at this point, we're going to actually play with the face and make this adorable little smile. So first you're going to tuck this yarn in to the other side. So in order to do that, you can just put the crochet hook there and just pull it through to the other side, right? And so you can nestle it in there. And then you're going to place the yarn with your darning needle. Like so. And you're going to just go in to that first, between the 2 eyes, you'll want to go in close to where that magic circle is, or that first row, that first ring. And you're going to come up and go in the other side. And you can always play with it till you get it to where you like it. Sweet little mouth. And then you're going to come just right above that. And you're going to pull it down and then just go back in to secure that little smile. There you have it. Once you're happy with it, you can kind of loosen it up if you'd like, because you're going to be filling it with stuffing, so you don't want to pull it too tight or it'll kind of make a little divot there. Just tie, double tie it just for security, and then just cut off your threads. Okay, so next you'll grab your black yarn, and it's going to be time to start this jogless black part of the bee. Okay, so you're going to grab your black chenille yarn, and you're going to put your hook back into that long loop and tighten it down. And I'm going to go into that first single crochet where the stitch marker is, so right in there. And you're going to grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, and this is where you're going to attach the black yarn. So instead of finishing the single crochet, you're going to take the black yarn and you're going to pull it through the 2 loops that are on your hook. Okay, like so. Now, for the jogless crochet, you're going to go into the next Okay, so this can be a little tricky at first, but you're going to take your crochet hook out, and kind of like you're going to do brain surgery on this poor little bee. You're going to come from the back out this way at the next single crochet. So from back to front, and then you're going to put the loop back on the hook, and you're going to pull it through like so. And you want to make sure that the yarn is, the working yarn is back behind. Point, you would also go ahead and put your stitch marker in place like so. Round 5. Now round 5 you're going to do single crochets all the way around, so you're going to wind up with 18 because that's what we left off with in row 4. So all you do is just keep going around, finding the hole and making sure that the yarn is behind the hook. And then the next one. Okay, so I'm at the point where, back at the beginning, so I'm going to put in my hook, and this time we're going to switch back to the yellow to make the yellow part. So just pick up your strand of yellow, put it through, loop it back, and make your first. Here you go, like so. Okay, so you'll go in and back to the beginning. You're going to go into that first crochet, and you're going to grab your black yarn. And you'll have 2 loops, 2 black loops, and then it's time to switch back to the yellow or the gold. And you're going to pull the gold through the 2 black loops. You can always tighten the black one down. And to make that jogless, you go into the next stitch from the back. Remember, like we're doing brain surgery. I know that's weird. Put this loop back on, crochet hook, and you're going to pull it through. Okay, so next we're going to go all the way around again with single crochets. So you're going to make 18, and you're going to do it with the gold. So with this black velvety one, you just kind of really have to feel for it, the holes, because it's kind of hard to see where your V's are. Okay, so we've just finished the 7th row, and so you'll have the 2 black with the yellow going through the middle, and now it's time to switch back to the gold color. So here's the last. I'm going to pull up 2, and right as I do that, I'm going to pull the gold up, pull up the loop, and then repeat the little jogless thing where you come from the back into the next. Put the loop on the hook and pull it through. And now you can cut off your black. You can give it a little tug. And we're going to proceed by going all the way around, doing single crochets in the gold for round number 8. So we're back, and we're going to be going into that first stitch, that round, and we're going to start round number 9. Okay. So then I'm going to reach in and tie the 2 black strands and tuck them in. So for round number 9 is when we start to decrease, so it's going to make this tapered end. And the way to do that is we're going to go into the next single crochet, or in the next stitch, and make a single crochet. Okay, so it's time to decrease. So find your next stitch, and you're going to go in, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. That gives you 3. Yarn over and pull through all 3. So that kind of decreases, as you can see. So then the next one's going to be a single, and then we're going to do the decrease. In, pull up a loop, go into the next one, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, back yarn over, and then decrease. Single, and then a decrease in the next one. So same all the way around. Okay, so you should have about 12 stitches once you've reached back around. And so all I did was I pulled up the loop, and it's time for the fun part. Grab your stuffing, and you're going to grab little pieces and shove them inside the bee, making sure that your loop's still out. So once you have the sufficient amount of plumpness that you like, it's time to do some more decreases. So grab your hook, put the loop back on, and it's time to do the next row, which is going to be all decreases. So take off the stitch marker, yarn to the back, and find your first stitch. Go in, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And proceed to do that all the way around. Okay, so reach the other side, so you should have a total of 6 stitches left. And this time I'm going to go in and pull up the yarn. We're going to slip stitch, so 2, and then pull through that last loop. Okay, so for this next part you'll need to grab that tail and just pull it through the loop, securing that. And then it's time to thread the darning needle or the yarn needle. Okay, and so here you want to just go through the front part of the stitch. So you have your V's, you're going to go through that front part of each of the stitches. So there's one, there's that next one. And what that does is close that hole up. Give it a little tug so it closes. To bury the yarn, I'm just going to go in and kind of go in and out a few times. Maybe back a few times. And then you can snip it off. Now it's time to do the wings. Okay, so you're going to start with a magic loop again. You're going to make 6 half double crochets. Tighten the magic loop up carefully. Slip stitch into that first stitch. And then leave yourself some extra yarn. Yarn over and secure it. And that's what the little wing should look like, and make another one. And there are the tails so that we can attach it to the bee. You're going to place it where you sort of like it, but I'm going to do it between the 2 black stripes. And I'm going to go on either side of the nose. Come through. I'm going to grab one of the strands and pull through. I'm going to tie it first. Then you can use your yarn needle I go in. And I weave it in. And give it a little tuck so that the wing stands up the way you want it. And then just continue to kind of weave it in however you want.